Do you have a brilliant startup idea? Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
Welcome back to On The Cusp. Got my co-host Matt Snyder back with me. One more episode, huh?
Hey, we're back.
Okay, cool. So who's our guest, Matt?
We've got Adam Rimmer from Rimmer Electric. We always talk about the trades and people working like in the industry in Shreveport, Bossier. And I've gotten to know Adam and wanted to bring him on. Adam, tell us a little bit about Rimmer Electric.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the invite. So Rimmer Electric is actually, our office is just a couple of blocks south of here as of a year ago.
Cool.
We were, for 10 years, we were just north of here on Bell Street. And we moved down there, renovated a building, and so that's where we operate out of right now. We've been in business, or I've been in business since 2004, 2005, when I just started wiring houses, kind of a side gig, right? So still worked full-time for a contractor and did that on the side, and that kind of developed. When I first really went into business, I had a partner, a guy named David Hall, and I worked for him, and we both worked for a contractor, and we both kind of put our heads together and was like, man, we need to do this for ourselves kind of deal, which is what a lot of guys do.
Got the entrepreneurial bug and just did it, huh?
I mean, that's the best.
Yeah.
When you jump out and do it on your own. I mean, we're a part of a business group and different things. You see so many of these guys, and it's great. There's nothing wrong with it, but their dad or their grandfather started the business and they inherited and keep it going, which is awesome. But there's something to me about a guy that, like, you know, is doing it and wakes up one day and is like, I want the risk, I want the reward, I'm gonna take this.
So when you decided to, go out on your own, what were your biggest concerns when you went down that path?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't, because I was I was 26 years old, and the guy that was going in business with him he was like in his mid-50s. He had been doing this for a while. Now, he wasn't the business owner by any means, but he had run a lot of big stuff, and I had a lot of, like, I was eager, let's go.
Yeah.
He had the experience, and we thought this is a no-brainer. Like, this is going to be easy. I wasn't married, didn't have any kids.
Oh.
I didn't have any responsibility. So for me personally, it was kind of like, let's just do it. And for David, it was more of a little bit of a leap of faith for him, because he was like, well, crap, I still got to make a living. So
that's the fun.
Interestingly
when you don't know enough to know this is scary.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, in that same year we went into business, I got out of the apprenticeship program, got married, and had a child on the way, all the same year. So I went from, this is no big deal, it doesn't really matter, to this is a big deal.
Yeah.
It does matter. And I think that's probably, God was probably saying, I need to give this guy some responsibility, something to do this with.
When I opened my business, I had 4 kids, a mortgage, and a wife, and it was, it was pretty scary in those early days of like, man, this really has to work.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest challenge when you first started?
I think the biggest challenge is getting people to let us do the work we wanted to go to. Residential work, and a lot of guys, the way I started, it was easy. I had a pickup truck and some ladders and tools, and you could go, if you know how to do it, there's somebody's going to let you do it. Getting into the commercial industrial world is another animal, because you're talking, again, in that time, jobs that were sub $10,000 to go wiring houses or whatever, to trying to get into this market with these 6-figure projects and bigger. That's when we realized, wait a second, that hand construction is not just going to hand me a contract for $1 million when I've been in business for 6 months. That just doesn't happen. And so I think
that didn't stop you.
It didn't stop us, no. I mean, we just kept going and going. And one of our biggest, I guess, injections of projects was with the school board. The school board is always doing summertime projects, and they were doing all their HVAC upgrades. And one year, I think all the other electrical contractors were busy, and nobody was bidding. Not as many were bidding, and we ended up with 3 of these schools where we had to do the, like, Payne Mechanical. Those guys would do they would be the GCs on it. They would hire us to do all the electrical. And so we ended up with 3 jobs and dang near $1 million worth of work that we had to do in 3 months.
Well, that makes you grow fast. You got to hire people and But
it kind of let us prove to some people that we could go, like, we say we can do it, we can do it, and we did do it.
So what year was that?
I was thinking it was 2006, I think.
So a couple years in, and then that changes the game.
It changed the game a little bit. Then I think our first really big job outside of school board stuff was when they built Legacy Elementary in Bossier. And that was a pretty big electrical project, and we did that one. And then from there, just kind of kept going. So, yeah.
That's really great. So talk about, in Shreveport, people, say, hey, you can't do business, you can't be successful in Shreveport. That is not the case for you on that. What do you think about people that say that?
I don't think that's true. I mean, I think if you got the drive and you want to go do it, you'll figure it out. I mean, and in a construction world, I don't know. I think when construction's a little slow, maybe the economy's a little slow, relationships matter in construction, for sure.
I was going to say that.
When the economy's booming and there's work to go around, relationships still matter, but still, everybody gets busy, and then the guys start looking for who's the new guy that's putting his hand up saying, hey, I'll come do it for you, kind of stuff. So, and North Louisiana, as it is today anyway, and for the foreseeable 10 years or so, and probably longer than that. But if you're in construction and you're not working, that's your fault right now. And if you're any good at all,
that's a good thing.
And you want to go into business and you can find the help.
That's where I want to go down that path. I want to talk about the help. Yeah. Okay, because right now you're out there, and happened the other day. I pulled up to an intersection. And there was a sign there said, electrical apprenticeship, $45 an hour. We'll train you. What's the labor market, right now in your industry?
The signs you're seeing is probably with IBEW. They put a lot of the signs out because the wage package right now for union electrician, which we're a union shop, we hire from IBEW, is pushing $60 an hour once you get through all the fringe benefits. Mid-50s to 60, and that's just going to keep going up. The apprentices are starting out, I think, at like $17 an hour or so right now. And after the first year, they start getting retirement and they start getting health insurance. It's anybody that asks me, think about going to the trade, it's really a no-brainer. I mean, I don't know where.
Well, you can tell you believe that because I called Adam and was like, hey, I got just some simple stuff. I need some lights changed. And he sent his son, who is an apprentice right now. Yep. And I mean, that says all you need to know if your son's in the industry. And
are you guys installing home generators?
We do a few of them. Yeah.
Do you?
It's we don't really go market it a lot.
Right.
It's kind of one of those deals where you have some companies and good companies in town that they just do generators.
Right. There are some.
We more of do it as we do it, but it's more of.
I just wonder because every other day somebody calls me, because I live up there in the middle of nowhere. Okay.
We have a trained Generac technician, Jason Pickett, that has been to the schools, been to Houston for 3 days, and is certified. So
you can do just anything. You can cover all the bases. You can do everything from residential all the way to the big jobs.
Yes, we do not wire new residential construction. We're not in that market. That's kind of its own. I ain't gonna call it a sub-market, but guys do that, and they kind of say, hey, I'm a house wireman, and there's certain techniques and certain things that you got to be a house wireman to be a house wireman. And so we're more in the commercial, industrial, and the service industry. Yeah, so residentially speaking, like Matt calls us and says, hey, I got something going wrong at my house. Can you send a service guy to fix it? And we do that. So,
I was going to talk about that because to me in that industry and anything where you're going to people's homes, your guys matter. Like when I call a plumber, an electrician, it's really who. Like I'm not gonna be there. So like Kathleen's meeting and like when your guys came, I come home that night and she's like, "Those guys are great. They were so nice. They were so professional." That like talk about like when you're hiring, you need somebody that knows how to do the work, but it also matters how they interact with a customer. I would think.
Again, we've been in business pushing 20 years now. A lot of the guys that work for us are been here 17, 18 years, so, and even the guys that, like Josh that came to your house, I think Josh and Ethan came. Ethan's an apprentice, so that's different, but Josh, I think, has been with us 10 years now.
That's awesome.
And so, just like anybody, you hire people and you kind of, they've got the skills, Sure. You don't really
Right.
know a lot about him, but over time you figure out that's a good guy. He's got a family. He's a good guy. He's not some transient dude
Right.
running through here for a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
while. And so the guys that you're going to put in a truck that you're going to send to a business or somebody's home is guys that you know.
Right, right.
And guys that you know who their kids are, and you know that where they live. It's, you know what I'm saying? So,
Relationships matter.
yeah.
That's
Anyway,
what.
Do you think in a market like Shreveport, like it's more important for you to be involved directly with your customer and on the ground? I mean, when I called you, you came to my house first before you sent the guys. Do you think that would be the same if you were doing business in Houston or Dallas?
Probably not. No,
Yeah.
I don't
I think
so.
that's one of the good things about Shreveport. Like,
However, I came to your house because I know who you are, and
Yeah,
I wanted to make dang sure that I knew what we were getting into. So
Yeah.
don't tell everybody I go to your house first.
but
because
you're
I can't do
involved
that,
in your
but
projects
yes,
for sure, yeah.
Yes.
And you see that across the board, I think. Like my plumber I use, he owns his company and he comes to my, like I just don't think you see that as much in big cities.
I don't know. It feels. Jason Pickett is my service manager, so usually, if he gets the call, he's the one who's coordinating what you need before Josh goes there, right? So
Right.
both of us are kind of the same way. It's like we don't like to operate where the phone call comes in and somebody at the desk writes the address down and hands it to a guy and they show up not having any clue what they're getting into.
Yeah.
And so we kind of like to have a little advance. So we can say, it just makes you more efficient if we kind of know what our guy's going to get into. Say, hey, it's probably going to be this, so here, take this with you kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
we
so
don't
let's
do that,
talk
but-
about, like Dave likes to go down this. Let's talk about like dealing, and this can be good or bad. Let's hear it as it is. Dealing with the city, permitting, state. How good are we?
Or what have you seen
that.
over time? Is it getting
Yeah.
easier to permit?
I mean, permitting's all online now, so that's nice. I mean, when we went in business, there was having to go down there and physically fill out an application and turn it in and then get them to approve it and all that. Now it's all online. That was a little rough in the beginning, but I think it was just rough because it was a new system. Everybody was getting used to it. City was getting used to it. We were getting used to it, whatever. But it flows pretty good now.
So when you're out on projects and you have these big schools and all that, do you think the dealing with the government side is efficient enough?
From the permitting, once we get involved from permits and inspections, I would say yes.
Good.
I mean, they're pretty good.
That is good
We
news.
go in and we like, hey, we're fixing to get an inspection on this part of the project. We don't call it in. We call the office, and the office gets online and they request the inspection, and they're usually there the next day.
So
I mean, that's kind of
not
their
like
deal. They don't get into where you just call the guy on the phone and I need you here right now. They don't operate that way, which is good because if they did, it would just be chaos.
It would.
So
Right.
it's like, hey, I need this tomorrow. I call it in today and they're there tomorrow, and it works pretty
And I think that's what you want. It doesn't seem like it's something you have to worry with. You're not concerned on a daily basis. It's not hindering your business.
No,
And that's
not at
what
all.
it should be.
What about, you talking to you, you're saying, hey, there's a lot of construction going on and there's lots of opportunity out there. What's it like recruiting technicians to Shreveport? Do you have people coming to you from outside Shreveport saying, hey, I want a job, I want to live and work in Shreveport?
A little bit. Not so much of guys saying, can I relocate to Shreveport and go to work here? But like last year, I think we were working somewhere in the neighborhood of 65 to 70 people. And, majority of those are from here. But some of those are guys that would come from Houston or come from little East Texas, as in Marshall area or whatever, and just drive in. The Houston guy wasn't driving in. We had a few people from Lake Charles come into town. There's a shortage of electricians and journeymen right now in our area, and a lot of that has to do with the places like Fiberbond that are so busy with work, and SLB, which is out at the General Motors plant. There's
Right.
just so much work, and the people we work for, which is Module X, down in Slack Industrial Park, there's so much going on in those facilities where they're more of, I don't know, call it manufacturing, but integration and prefab building construction. But, when I say there's enough work in Shreveport and North Louisiana, and a lot of people are like, well, where's the construction at? Well, a lot of that work is in those 3 facilities. And then I think Sabre Industries, as well as in Bossier, they're doing some of the similar work. So there's really 4, and there's probably one I don't know about. But
yeah, there probably is.
there's stuff I don't even know is
the
going
whole,
on.
the whole Mr. Reddy's buying out
With Frymaster.
Frymaster
Yeah.
getting bought by them. That's going to be a total redo. Somebody's going to get that work. So I hear and see, a lot of that going on, and the demand for tradespeople to support that.
That's right.
The thing that we don't talk about enough, we're always talking about, can we bring somebody to come work here from somewhere else? The biggest thing that I see all the time in talking to people our age is their kids that are talented kids saying, oh, there's no work in Shreveport for me. I've got to go move to Dallas, Baton Rouge. And I'm hearing Rimmer say, we got $60, $70 an hour jobs, that these kids could stay and do. And, where I always am fighting is like, how do we keep more of our talent in town? Because I know some people that are changing the world, a lot of them, but they were from Shreveport and they're changing the world out of Dallas, Houston,
Well, I think in the trades, when the economy's good and there's a lot of work, the wages go up. So, if you're willing to work in one of those types of environments, which don't require a college degree, to get to the top end of that, you've got to be a licensed journeyman electrician to get there. You can't just come to work from
how many years
Circle
does that
K
take?
and
what does
learn
that
how to do
take to
something
get
in
to
10
that
minutes.
level?
So our apprenticeship program is currently a 5-year program. So IBW, which is the local electrical union, and NECA, which is the contractor association, which we're a part of, we jointly fund this apprenticeship school. It's the one I went through. It's one my son's going into, or he's in.
Yeah.
But it's a 5-year program. You got to apply for it.
So do individuals come out of the vocational schools into that? They graduate, or
No,
most of them just...
this is the vocational school.
That is the vocational
this is where you go to learn. So I've always tell people, they're like, well, I'm thinking about going to, the VOTEC or something. I'm like, that's good, but if you can get into this apprenticeship, the difference with the apprenticeship is there's the schooling aspect of it, right? You go 2 nights a week, and it's the job placement. So all the NECA contractors, in May of every year, we say, hey, I need to work X amount of apprentices. And the director, Matt, says, all right, here's how we're going to distribute these 300 some odd apprentices that we got over here. And Adam gets 15 and Camus gets X.
I love
or whatever.
that your son is not working his apprenticeship under you.
He started it. He started his first year, but yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I'm working for the
so again, part of the deal is that this association that functions together, the idea is that, my son Cole worked for me his first year. He learned the types of things that we typically do. Now he's working for Jack Spring, and he learns the things that they typically do. Next year he'll go somewhere else. So he's not an assembly line electrician. He's a well-rounded electrician.
That's really
he doesn't come and put this light in. That's all he knows how to do.
Right.
So that's the beauty of that program, and the fact that the program is responsible for keeping these young men and women employed with guys like me. That's where the real benefit, I think, comes in. And the fact that they don't have to wait 5 years to start getting health insurance and retirement benefits. They're getting it as they're in the program, and
they're in school, but they're working too.
And the other deal about it is they've just in January, instead of 2 nights a week, it's a 1 night a week deal because everything's going online now. So Cole's at the island on Tuesdays doing his homework, doing his stuff or whatever, and he goes Thursday and they do the tests and they check in and all that. But so they're trying to make it as up to date and modern as they can. And the other, they're talking about trying to squeeze the program into less time so that people may be more interested in going into a shorter apprenticeship versus a 5-year deal. So,
but they're working during that 5 year. I mean, they're getting paid.
Full-time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, it's not like it's a 5-year program.
It's not 5 years of school and then you go to work.
Right.
You work
working.
and
You're
you
working
learn
throughout.
at the same time.
Man, that sounds really
getting
good.
rounded like that and the opportunities to do so many things only makes
For
them
a dad
better,
with a kid in college,
makes him a better electrician.
that sounds a lot better. We both have kids in college. They're not making a cent. It's all going one way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Matt, this has been great. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Adam.
And being part of On The Cusp. And best of luck to you.
Yeah.
I hope you kill some ducks.
Yeah, you too.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.